Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at both of the LEGO Harry Potter Burrow sets and doing a comparison video. We have here on the left, LEGO set 4840, the Burrow from 2010. This set originally retailed for $59.99 USD, although it's a little bit more pricey now. This set had 568 pieces, 6 minifigures, 3 animals, and the price per piece ratio was 10.6 cents. And on the right over here, we have LEGO set 75980, Attack on the Burrow. This is from 2020 with 1,047 pieces, retailed for $99.99 USD. It has 8 minifigures and 3 little animals, and the price per piece ratio here was 9.6 cents. Without further ado, we're going to take a look at these. However, I first want to go over my checklist guidelines for this review and comparison. So here we're going to be taking a look at first the characters, the price, the side builds, the design for the interior, then the exterior, the playability, my thoughts, and then we'll go over the final verdict. So I'm going to be giving each set either 1 point or no points for each of these categories, and then the final verdict will be which one, has the most points overall. So make sure, guys, if I say anything you think is incorrect, let me know in the comments down below. And I will say the pink highlighter is back again this time, just like in the last comparison video I did. So without further ado, let's compare all these minifigures. With only 2 exceptions, both of the LEGO sets have the exact same minifigure selection. There are 2 additional figures in the 2020 version, however. We have Ron Weasley and Nymphadora Tonks. I'm not sure why Ron was excluded from the first version of the Burrow, maybe to justify the price or something, but you think he'd be an integral character in the Burrow set, but it's okay. And then Nymphadora Tonks appears here for the first time ever in LEGO form. I'm a little disappointed she doesn't have a pink hairpiece, however, she's still a great inclusion, and these are definitely points in the 2020 set's favor. So let's move them out of the way. And now I'm going to be showing you each version of the other 2 characters and picking which one is better. And then excluding these 2 characters who only appeared in the 2020 version, I'm pretty much going to base the character spot off of which set has more character points, as you put it. So the first 2 are going to be the Harry Potters of the set. Now, I'm not going to be counting the wands for this review because I think the stick wands are atrocious. I mean, I get it was what they had back then, but the new wands are so much better by comparison. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say this Harry Potter is terrible. I like this one so much more because at least they tried with his jacket and they gave him an exclusive piece, as opposed to this Harry who just got a rehash of this jacket and was used in like so many other sets. So without a doubt, the 2010 Burrow gets its first point with this Harry Potter minifigure. Next up is going to be Ginny Weasley. We have 2 versions of Ginny here, both using the same hairpiece, notably. I'm a little torn here on which one I like better. I do like this one for the legs, the 2010 version, by the way, because there are no printed legs on this minifigure. However, I'm a little torn because I don't like the shirt here because the same sweater was used for Hermione in either the same year or the next year. So that's a little lazy in my opinion. Although what is even more lazy is the reuse of this disgusting face print, I think from Claire on this Ginny, looks nothing like her. So for that reason alone, I think I'm going to have to give the Ginny point to the 2010 Burrow again. And we're really hitting out of the park 2-0 here, simply because, more accuracies and less reuse of pieces. All right, next up is going to be Arthur Weasley because I was a little tired of giving 2010 minifigure points. Without a shadow of a doubt, this Arthur Weasley from 2020 is loads better than the 2010 version. The legs are a non-issue. They're both plain gray, just this one's darker. The shirt is where it really comes into play here. We have a nice little jacket for 2010 with a couple, little bit of back printing, but here we have a patchwork sweater that continues its patchwork design on the back, so much more accurate, and it looks so much better printed. We also have a much better face print for this Mr. Weasley than this one. This one has way too many wrinkles and looks kind of terrifying, to be perfectly honest. So I definitely prefer this Mr. Weasley's face print, and they both have the same hairpiece. So without a doubt, I can say that we finally can give a minifigure point to the 2020 Burrow. Since we just talked about Mr. Weasley, I think it's only fair to talk about Mrs. Weasley, and she was the only minifigure in the 2010 version that did not come with a wand. Now, I'm torn here. I'm not sure how I feel about the hairpiece. I know for a fact that I don't really like Mrs. Weasley's head because they reused Helena Hufflepuff's. However, I don't like the 2010 head either. I think Helena Hufflepuff's is better, but that doesn't mean it's great. Now, I do like Mrs. Weasley's torso print from 2020 better. However, I don't like the leg printing. I think the dress is really good. It should have been printed. That's why I'm finding myself liking the clothes for this Mrs. Weasley better. She should have had a dress. However, this is printed, and that looks so much better than this. However, I I think the Hermione hairpiece doesn't, because this piece was originally for Hermione Granger, doesn't really work. I like the hair and the face and the shirt here better, like the legs here better, and the fact there's no wand. I really think that 2020 has to take the win from Mrs. Weasley here, although neither of them are really my favorites. I'd like to kind of mix them together to form an ultimate minifigure. Maybe I'll do that in a later video, fixing the Burrow minifigures. If you guys want to see that, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. But that takes away all of the heroes, so now we have two villains to take a look at. Bellatrix Lestrange. Now, I have the same problem with her that I had with Mrs. Weasley. Reused face print, no leg printing. Exclusive face print, really great leg printing. So, the same hairpiece, I believe it's the same hairpiece at least. It looks like it. I don't see why they would have made a new one. This face print has the cackling Bellatrix expression we all know and love, so it's a little better. And then we got leg printing galore here. I love the dress. It looks so much better. The torso print's almost the same, so for the exclusive face and the leg printing alone, I'm going to have to say that 2010 takes another win here. I think I know which one's going to beat out 2020. Although we have Fenrir Greyback, and I definitely think that the they're on the wrong sides, excuse me. I definitely think the 2010 version is lacking in detail. The hairpiece looks a little sleeker and black, I think, and we got leg printing here, no leg printing there. And while the flesh tone isn't great, you can see it looks a little more natural here as opposed to the weird yellow over here. I think they kind of just sharpened up the face print, got the eyes a little better. So I definitely think that 2020 is better than 2010. So when we pull all these characters out, which ones were 2020 versus 2010, we have a tie, actually. So to break that tie, I'm going to take a look at the farm animals. Now, comparable animals, we have at first Hedwig. Now, we have two Hedwigs here. We have the original sitting Hedwig and the flying Hedwig that appears in every single Harry Potter set, except for the Room of Requirement and the Forbidden Forest, I think. But every other set gets this Hedwig. And it's like, really? Come on. Now, I have so many of these that I'm kind of biased, and I think I'm going to say that I like this owl better, simply because I could use a Hedwig sitting down as opposed to a Hedwig flying. So that's going to go to 2010's favor. We also have two pigs. We have a kind of odd salmon-colored pig and a bright pink pig. Now, it's the same mold as far as I can tell. However, I think for accuracy's sake, I kind of like the older style pig just because this is a really vibrant pink, although the vibrant pink is kind of getting me. I think I'm going to call it a tie because it's really the same mold, just different colored, and it comes down to personal preference. So I'm just going to toss that out and not count that in the review. Now, there's two more animals in the set. We have a brown owl and a gray owl. The gray owl was from 2010. The brown was from 2020. And I don't really know how to compare these guys, so I'm going to call it a tie here as well. And they really are just good inclusion to the set, kind of build out the Harry Potter universe. And I can't pit them against each other because they're different characters, so it's a tie. Now, that would leave the 2010 Burrow in the lead with 3 minifigures and 1 character. However, we're forgetting that the 2020 Burrow has 2 additional characters. So I think for the minifigure category, I'm going to have to wipe all these out and give it to 2020, simply because they have same number of characters in my, my guidelines, but they also have those 2 extra characters that really give it an oomph for minifigures. Even though they're not as accurate, quantity still wins out here. But now, let's talk about the price. So we have 2 great builds, don't get me wrong. We have this Burrow, which is massive, fully detailed in the interior, we'll get to that soon, for $100. Then moving over here, we have this Burrow, which is much smaller. However, it only was retailed for $60. That's a $40 price difference, although the piece count really decreased almost by half. So this should have been $50, but I will say, for the price, I'm going to have to say I think I prefer the newer Burrow over the older one, simply because they doubled the piece count and added 2 more minifigures and increased the interior and the stickers and everything. They really upped their design game here, especially with the crooked top, and they only elevated the price $40, when I think they could have justified maybe $50 or even $60, because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I would have complained, but I still probably would have bought this for $120. So for the price category, let's bring my checklist back. Gonna have to give 2020 another mark here. Whew. Feel free to roast me in the comments for how bad my check marks are. But next, we're gonna take a look at the side builds. Now, for the side builds, we have 2 things that are represented in the 2010 Burrow that aren't represented in the new one. We have the freestanding fireplace and the fire catapult. Now, there is a fireplace in the new Burrow. Let's spin this guy around real quick and take a look inside. We have this fireplace right here, which does have a turning feature, which we'll go more in depth about later. However, you can't actually fit a minifigure in, and you can't detach it from the center of the house. Whereas with this right here, you can take a minifigure, let's say for argument's sake it's Molly, put her in, twist the handle, and she disappears. And that's such a fun play feature. You can play around with everyone. Bellatrix doesn't really work because of her dress, but we can try. Yep, toss them out. And you can put the catapult in here. And, you know, that doesn't work. Oops. Let's try that again, see if I can get this to work, because I kind of want to now. And boom, it does. So this is so much fun. I love the stickers here. The portraits up top are really nice too. It's a very simple feature, but it's one I'm definitely very happy they included here. I think the side build was very nice. Speaking of catapults, this you can just kind of detach one of these cylinders and put it inside the catapult and launch it at the Burrow house, just like you were burning it down like the Death Eaters did in this movie. So it's pretty accurate. And as far as side builds that are the same, both sets represent the Flaming Marshlands. In 2010, we have this excellent side build with water, with bushes, with flaming pieces, with a catapult, a frog, which I forgot to include in the animal review. Sorry about that, guys. And some rocks. And then for 2020, we have this excellent strip of fire. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's no contest here. 2010 gets the point. This is so lame. It seems like an afterthought. It's not even the properly colored ground. They were just like, oh, why don't we throw in some fire builds, guys? Yeah. No. So we're going to, without a doubt, be giving 2010 the side builds point here. And it looks like a slightly better check mark, if I do say so myself. And that brings us to the next category, which will be exterior design. All right, for exterior design, we're going to start with the 2010 Burrow. Up top, we have an excellent double chimney. Moving down, we got some really nice window designs here. Little pipe right here, opening windows, more opening windows. We have a very nice stickered log piece. You've got the front of the Burrow kind of jutting out. Got the door with the arch up here, entryway. We got some side windows. Paneling continues on the side. We got some more good prints there, or stickers, excuse me. We have the interior, which we'll take a look at in the next comparison part. And then we have a really nice window with a roof here. Another one of those stickered tiles. And then a pig pen with a stickered door right here. Though it does open directly into the kitchen, which is a little concerning if I do say so myself. We got some nice flower baskets. Door does open and close. It's very nice, very cozy. However, I will say it is all one color, and it doesn't get the different level ramshackle feel that you'll see when you take a look at this guy right here. So let's get 2010 out of the way. And we've got 2020, which is much taller, still has the double chimney, but it manages to get a double room look. You've got kind of like this little section of the house here, which is different colored paneling. We got the kind of roof dome here, balcony. We got another section of the windows jutting out here. We got windows padding. Then it changes abruptly to tan. We got different texture bricks. We got blue, sand blue windows, back to white windows, more sand blue windows. But most notably, the roof is multicolored. We got the same kind of maroon that was found on this Burrow over here. We also got red. We got this caramel color. We got a kind of leaning chimney. We got the balcony right here. Moving down, this whole section does come off too. And you can see how they put the whole thing on an angle, which makes the Burrow look just that much more impressive. And then we got the pig pen out front again, with a whole ton more stickers and everything to kind of highlight the Burrow feel. Some very nice outside detailing, which they didn't really have room for last time. A pig pen that doesn't open into the kitchen. Then spinning this guy around. I will say that the doorway here is much nicer. You got the angular look. The door opens, although this is a pretty long stick in my opinion. We got some more of those excellent stickers. We got the interior, which we'll take a look at soon. But spinning this back around to take a look at the exterior. Oop, broke it right there. You can see this side is relatively plain and really just plays into the play feature because that's where you twist to get the fire to turn. And all right, so I will say I'm slightly hampered by the fact that I can't pick this up like you can pick up this guy, because this one's not going to go anywhere when you wiggle it. However, this, unless you pick it up from like right here, which is really awkward and feels like it's going to break. This one's definitely a little harder to carry, but still looking at both of these, I'm definitely going to say I like the exterior design of the new Burrow much better. So we're going to bring back my checklist, put that right here. And for design exterior, 2020 is getting the mark just because they really got their colors and the slanted design down. While this Burrow was great for its time, the Lego building techniques really let them go ham for this set, and it looks all the better for it. But now our next category is going to be interior design. So Before we start this, I just want to say one thing real quick. I'm trying a different style of approach here, using a handheld camera as opposed to mounting on a stand, just so I can get the full scope of the burrow, all the nice close-up shots. If you like this style of recording, please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you don't like it, if you hate it, please tell me so I can, never do it again. But we're going to start with the 2010 burrow, start at the top. We've got a lantern with a quiddler piece in the back there, a bed, which is the same exact style bed as the 2 bunk beds here. We have a chest that has 2 socks and some gold coins in it. And then those are the only 2 rooms we have besides the main kitchen area, which has a chandelier. Then we've got 2 chairs, spinny chairs, that don't actually impact anything about the kitchen itself. We got a table with a bench-like kind of approach to seating, which is kind of lame. We got a daily profit piece right there. And zooming in real quick, you can see that the clock right there, which is supposed to have the mortal peril, work, school, whatever signs, has numbers as opposed to, accurate style, clock builds, but that's okay. We got a very nice pendulum see-through sticker instead. Yay. We got a really cool chest of drawers though, and we also have what looks to be a print sticker tile right here to open into the pig pen, so the pig can come directly into the kitchen. You know how that is though. We got a lamp right there. We got the kitchen with a burner, 2 cabinets, which I believe have forks, knives, and a croissant in them. We got a sink in the corner, some plates, some pots, cherries, some cups, and then a little stool. Overall, it's very cute. However, when we put this aside and take a look at 2020, you'll see that I already know this one's going to win, simply because it's got such a better interior. And while you're looking at the outside, because this opens in 2 different ways, this right here pulls open, and you can see that there's a fully decorated interior on this side. We've got a couch, a little table with some candles. We've got another table with a plant and a lamp and then a bottle of alcohol. We got a little table right there with a letter. We have wood logs and a bookcase. And then there's some pictures on the wall. I don't know if you can see them. They're kind of hidden. Then when you turn this knob on the outside, you can change the color of the fire when someone throws flue powder in it. Excuse me, I can't talk. And then there's a little piece right there, which kind of just, that stud connects in with the hole right there. That closes up the top so it doesn't swing open on you. And spinning this build around, let's take a look at the other interior. I will say one thing that the other side of this did better is locking in place, because I really wish they would have tried to do the same for here. But while we have that open, you can swing this out. We've got a really good sink here, some shelving, we got a teapot, a bunch of bottles, another one of those printed pictures. We got a table with mix match chairs, which fits the Weasley aesthetic much more. We got a plate of eggs, waffles, orange juice, salt, some mix matched cups. Then over here we got 2 plants. Then we got the clock, which I don't know if it's accurate yet. I can't really make out any words on it. There's something written there, but I can't read it. I think it is actually mortal peril, work, school, everything with different Weasley family members. So kudos to LEGO for doing that. We got a really cool chimes in the back, and I think they really got the nail, through the coffin on this one for the clock design. We got a chair right there. Moving up, we have Ginny's room. There's a little bedspread there for the Harpies or whatever her Quidditch team is. We got a Weird Sisters poster on the wall, broomstick, mirror, and a hairbrush. Moving up, we have 2 rooms. We got the knitting room, which uses 2 wands. This is knitting needles. She's knitting some kind of Weasley blanket. There's a basket with yarn. We got the camel picture, Egypt vacation picture from the Weasleys, excuse me. We got the master bedroom, which is just a bed. Then we got Ron's room with his cuddly cannon display. And then we got a really nice poster right there, a balcony with a broom, and then, empty space for the owls to sit. When you look at these 2 sets side by side, if my camera would decide to focus, there we go. I really do think there's no contest. They fit like 3 extra rooms in here, and there's the whole other side of the thing opening, everything. I really just think that there's no way that 2010 can compete with the sheer size and decoration that is 2020. So for design interior, another check mark for 2020, and we only have 2 categories left, playability and then my thoughts. And it looks like already that 2020 is going to win just because 1 to 4. I don't think 2010 can come back from that. But let's speed run these real quick and talk about playability. Now, in terms of playability, I think the figure selection for 2020 offers a little more, simply because we have 8 characters instead of 6. And so you get Ron, and he goes with the Burrow. And I mean, that's kind of a mess, but you get my point. There's more figures, and so you can play with it more. There's also a little bit, it's a little cramped. However, you can open 2 different parts of this house to get access to both of the interiors. We have a kitchen and a living room. And then the dollhouse style for all of these rooms works really well. You can reach in and play with all of them. And I did knock off the teapot by accident. Here, we only have the one main room, which is very, very open. Don't get me wrong. We got The bunk beds, which are kind of cramped in there, you can't really get a minifigure in there all too well. Let's put Mr. Weasley. You can slide him in, lock him in place, but he falls out of his bed, and you can't, like, I can only fit one finger in there, and it's really hard to move around. It's not great. Moving up, we have the same bed and just a little lamp. And there's 3 beds for the entire Weasley family. Here we have 3 beds, but this one fits 2 characters, and there's another room here you can mod, and it's a little more believable. And I just really think that for playability, this one is more open, airy, and there's more, details here, things you can add, play with, also the wands. Although playability has to be taken into account for the side builds here, because this launching these little flaming fire goblets or balls or whatever they are is a little more playable than the spreading the fire thing from the other set. So you can launch that at the Burrow and catch it on fire, have Bellatrix flying around, lighting everything on fire, and it's a lot more playable. We also have the really cool vanishing fire build right here. And so I really think I might have to call it a tie here. Certainly the new Burrow has more details for interior. The interior is better. When you look at a playable value overall, I think kids are going to have a lot more fun using this and this than just moving their characters around the house, because you can reenact the battle, you can have characters leaving, and I think, this might be a pity vote, but at the same time, I don't think it is. So I'm going to give playability to 2010, and then that just leaves my thoughts. And now we come to the final thoughts portion. Now, both of these sets are fantastic, and be sure to note that you can expect a review of the 2020 Burrow up very, very soon. I'm working on that now. However, taking a look at both of these sets paired together, I think LEGO definitely hit it out of the park with 2020. There was so much improvement, and it has been 10 years since the 2010 Burrow came out. That's 10 years to work on an improvement, get better minifigures, improve your building styles and techniques and everything. I think it really shows. Now, I'm not saying that 2010 is a bad model. In fact, it's excellent for its time and for its value. It represents very, very decent price per piece ratio, some great characters, and obviously what I think is the better playability there. However, for display, I'm definitely going with 2020. And just overall, I think I personally prefer the newer model just because it's larger and looks nicer on display, but kids might like playing with this one more. So my thoughts, I'm going to give it a tie because for different people, it's going to be different things. However, that's not going to affect the final verdict at all. Bringing back my little score sheet right here, we can see when we tally that up, it's going to be a tie for the My Thoughts section. So we have 4v2, or if you wanted to give it to 2010, that would still be 4v3. And for the final verdict, we're going to give 2020 the better score here. So of the two sets, 2020 is the objectively better one. If you disagree, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. But I want to say thank you so much for watching, guys. And this was a bit of a longer video. Keep an eye out for my upcoming reviews, and I hope to see you in the next video, and have a fantastic day.